Hey, I've just been working on my veggies. As you can see, my pumpkin here is looking fantastic. Quite a monster. Anyway, my corn is looking great. The sun's shining again. The sky seems to be clearing of stuff. And by the way, clouds are probably only the underbelly of clouds is 200, 300, 400 meters high. So think on that. But the title of this little clip is Order Followers and Conformists. The system already knows that this is how we're made up. We're made up of people who follow orders and those who don't. So the entire education system is designed to start weeding out those, or separating people into those different categories, unknowing to the teachers. You know, they don't realize that they're doing that or participating in that. Of course not. But that's how it works. And those that are going to be the order followers and conformists and so on are going to oftentimes fill the jobs that. Hey Roxanne, how are you doing? You know, the order followers and conformists are the ones who are going to most often end up in those jobs that require for people to just get on with it. But you know, the psychology goes much deeper than that, because it puts in place inducements to keep people in the process unwittingly, you know. So even your favorite TV show or your habit for consumerism of some sort, you know, is in a sense creating like a hierarchy that you need to maintain, a hierarchy that requires for global you know, trade deals and all that sort of business. So yeah, I think that most people are unwittingly caught up in this cycle of going along with it, simply going along with it and keeping quiet. And I guess as you're there, I think Roxanne still, it's worth saying that in the flat earth community, or the flat earth kind of awakening of things, then I think that we must guard against becoming conformists about, you know, how we go about this, because actually the entire, you know, it's not a question as to whether or not is the earth flat and do we debate about which model is preferred. It's not really about that. It's about that the entire system is a sham. It's a house of cards, Alice in Wonderland type creation. And do we continue kowtowing to the authorities that have been set before us in this game, or do we realize our own authority? Thank you. Do we realize our own authority and, you know, no longer play second fiddle to the police or the government or the this or the that, because it's, you know, the government reads the mind control, and you know, the police are, much as I would, you know, I have no problem with individual people, the police are you know, an order following system, a service, and they don't really, when the rubber hits the road, they don't really question things too deeply. I know that from my own experience in local government. So I guess we just need to be thoughtful about that. You know, I know that what the system would love would be for people to kind of go, oh well, our version of anarchy is to jump up and down and maybe petition, or to, you know, to kind of work within the framework of the system, you know, to use their kind of their paperwork, as it were, you know, to go, oh yeah, well, you guys tell us where we can meet and how we can do it and all this sort of stuff. No. That's not really the whole business, the whole affair, the whole structure and nature of the royal this and this and that. That's all bullshit. That's all part of the lie. That's all part of the con that's been pulled over our eyes. So I'm saying that the system operates because of so many order followers, and I marched down the Whitehall. I've marched down Whitehall on Remembrance Sunday past the Queen. I have actually done that, believe it or not, even though I wasn't in the British military. You know, so I've been alongside of the order followers, even though I didn't necessarily fit in. I was only a national serviceman. I know them, and they're not going to give up on their order following. They're not. They're not going to give it up. They love it. They love the hierarchy, their place in the pecking order, and they aspire to a slightly higher place in the pecking order and so on, and dream about perhaps one day being, you know, touched by royalty and given some sort of accolade. I had a letter from Prince Harry one time. Well, not him, obviously, but from his equerry. Thank you very much for the copy of the book. You know, Harry really enjoyed adding it to his library of other fiction pertaining to the wars that we've been encouraging you to get involved in for so many centuries. I was only paces from the lad at that time. So, you know, I know that these guys are not going away. They're not giving it up. They're fucking in for the long haul. There's, in my mind, there's people around me already, or around the kind of, not me specifically, but around the kind of the burgeoning, you know, flat earth kind of community. We know that there are agents, you know, because I asked this question, you know, where are the Jesuits? You know, where are whoever it is that runs the show? Where are they, and how are they hiding themselves within the ranks of any kind of movement? We know that they've always done that, so that's a no-brainer. I think they oftentimes stand out like a sore thumb, and I think they oftentimes cling to this kind of this bland kind of version of, oh yeah, so the earth is flat, isn't that incredible? Well, it's not all about that. It's, the earth is flat. Obviously the earth is flat. You know, you really have to be clinging to your Santa Claus version of life to kind of not realize by now that the earth is flat. I'm sorry to say, but that's a very young-minded approach, not to be looking at this stuff and the obviousness of water, you know, and the complete lack of credible information or evidence of anything to the contrary, of balls spinning. That is obvious. So let's fucking move on and go, well, now we need to build up a kind of, you know, a sort of head of steam that allows us the kind of strength, or at least we're taking the, at least we're saying the words, at least we're going in the direction of saying, hey, this system is totally absurd. You know, I mean, it's absurd even that we should have to kowtow to a policeman at a Hyde Park. You know, it should be them going, okay, you know, we're really sorry, we fucked up. You know, we've been supporting the wrong team unknowingly, because I'm sure that 95% or 99% of police people, just like in the army, they have absolutely no fucking idea what they're involved in. You know, so it's just like in banking. You know, bankers are just there trying to make their money. They don't realize they're fucking just part of some great kind of piracy scheme. So, you know, I try not to disrespect them for their ignorance, but I do think that it's harder for them, and because they were the order followers, because they were the conformists, because they fell in line very well with the system and so on, they're going to be the hardest ones to kind of convince. But you know, I guess the point is what we're going to do? Is we're going to try and fucking convince people? You know, I don't know that's our mission necessarily, only to try and convince people. I think that we have to bring change. So I'm rabbiting on now, and I don't want to take up people's time, but I think that, you know, we've been pussyfooting around the conformists and pretending like all we need to do is wake people up, when the system doesn't. It has the power, it has the control, in the sense that it has people's minds, it has the TV, it has their entertainment in its hands. So I'm not going away, but I think we need to do something. something more. Okay, have a good day.